walking along, looking for small items that are actually much larger here. The tamarisk trees, and nevertheless, closer you get to the spring, you find the palm trees, and also wild plants, such as, if you look back where we came from, see that plant with the big round balls on it, green balls, and it has rather wide leaves. It's just there on the other side of that sign. This is the Sodom apple plant.
Sodom apple.
Yes, and it's, if you break it, white latex comes out of the sap.
Edible.
It's not edible.
You can try.
It's poison.
Yeah,
It's a sign of poison. Don't.
Jeremiah 80 already.
He got resurrected.
The fruit with that one, with
Yeah.
like a big fruit.
Yeah.
I mean, the fruit inside is empty.
Yeah,
Nothing there.
yeah, it pops. Yeah.
Yeah.
So you had it with
Exactly.
80?
Because you're 80.
No.
Okay,
No.
good.
Before
That's why you are here.
Like not today. Before I tried it, but
It's bitter, I bet.
yeah.
So there's two things when you're actually in a place where you've never been before and you're hungry and you don't know what to do, you're about beside yourself and you need something to eat. If it's something that tastes bitter, it's something that has white latex coming out and sometimes a clear latex coming out, kind of a sappy, thick type of. It's a good chance that it's actually poisonous. And so that's true of oleanders, it's true of the Sodom apple plant, and there's a few others as well. But the Sodom apple plant is on your brochure. You can see a picture of a butterfly, and that butterfly, yours is in English. You still have it there. You got a butterfly there? Oh, it's got the jewel beetle too. That's good. Do you remember I talked about the jewel beetle earlier? Let me see your thing here. This is the African monarch butterfly. You have a North American monarch butterfly that also eats off a similar plant known as the it's known as the North American monarch, and it's called milkweed. And this is related to milkweed. They similarly have this white latex in them. And the monarch butterfly, and it's basically it's in its pupa, in its caterpillar form. It eats the poisonous plant. It pupates off of it. It comes out like this, and it's poisonous to birds and other things that might want to eat it. There are other butterflies that mimic this because all the birds think that this is something very dangerous, even though they're not dangerous because they're only mimicking a monarch. But it's a whole work that's done. It's an interesting one that we all should know about. And you can see here that we have this jewel beetle, Middle Eastern jewel beetle. This is a beetle that we actually have in our kitchen right now. The green one, yeah. What we have in front of us here, they call it an Ainfeshka site. I'm not sure about everything that they mention on this as being correct, but you have one of the proposals by the original one of the more recent excavators, Isar Hirschfeld, was that this was being used for making this kind of indigo type of black or a bluish dye that was used as a substitute for the techelet that's supposed to go on the bands on the tzitzit in the prayer shawl, but really what they were using in daily life. Mentioned back in an Old Testament text going many centuries before the Common Era. Whether it's for that or for some other purposes, there was a spring that came from up there that no longer comes through here anymore. You can see the channels that it would have been on, and that would have been used according to Roland DeVoe, that this was actually used for tanning leather, not for scrolls, but for other purposes. We don't know exactly what it was, but it wasn't something that necessarily meant that somebody needed to be ritually pure to be able to do that manufacturing. They also have grinding mills here. They have other things in daily life, and they have a rather small, similar pattern to Qumran, which we will go to see, where you have a big wide room on one side that would have been where everyone could eat dinner in. But it was also separated off from the area that's over on the left that you can see from here, that's the site itself. I'm not having you stand out in the sun looking at this. You can go up and see the sign and even go inside the building. It's a very interesting building, fairly strongly built. And it's a double entrance front building. The left entrance goes into the area where they are doing their work, and the more domestic areas actually as well. And on the right is where they have their sacred meal. And so some of the same types of bowls and cups and whatnot were found on the other side of the wall here in the excavations, showing that they had the same type of communal meals that we have up in Qumran. But there's some aspects that are missing here that would make it into a more sacred site, holy site. It's not. Some parts of it might in fact be for purity. But they did have the one place that was set off from the rest of it, and that was the place for the communal meal in that big room on the right. They also had a stairwell to go up to another level on top of that. And there, these cars are going right over where there was an extension of a series of stables, of stalls for donkeys. And up at the other end at Qumran, there's another set that's still partially preserved for donkeys to go back and forth, having their water down here, the springs down in here. There still is one down there today, over to the left. And then they would fill them up with water. And then all they would have to do is tether them together, and they'd go walking up to the other side, because notice there's food on the other end. And then when they finish putting the water into the cistern, not in virtual immersion pools, you don't use the carried water in immersion pools, but it has to be living water. It could be from rain coming off the roof of a house. It could be from a channeled off flooded rain coming down toward the site that's channeled into those virtual immersion pools. Or it could be from a channel from a dammed up pool up at the top of the waterfall that could suffice. But whatever it is, it cannot be something that's carried by hand. Otherwise, it's not considered living. Now, here we have a place that just seems really sensibly a place where either proselytes or Maridacenes would have lived in service to the community, which we haven't been to see yet. It's worthwhile just to have this in mind. There's a few interesting things inside. It is a little warm there, but we can walk over there quickly, and then after that we will go immediately into the reserve itself. And this is a place where there's a lot of interesting plants and animals that actually you wouldn't expect to be so close to the Dead Sea. Okay, so it's nice to sit here in the shade.